Thank you, Mr. Bucy. The bill before us, which has been much ballyhooed as being a way to uplift people of low means, families of low means who are stuck in struggling schools, in fact, will be a public subsidy of the tax dollars that our constituents pay in order to subsidize wealthy families in private schools. Is that not right?
It absolutely has the potential to do that.
And let's talk about that potential, because as you pointed out, there are a number of different buckets that need to be filled before you get to this uncapped potential of billionaires being eligible for this subsidy. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, there's one thing that's curious about the bill that has not been discussed, that those buckets go away after the first 2 years of the bill, do they not?
I'll take your word for it.
So the buckets, in fact, do not stay in place in perpetuity of the program. They melt away so that the caps that are put in place do not persist beyond the first few years of the program. Is that correct?
Well, it is. And Representative, with that being stated, I'll tell you what's more important than ever that we put this amendment on, because if that was to happen, then we would see more rich and more elite take advantage of this program down the road, and we would not be serving the kids that are truly in need. So we need to make sure that with this amendment that we're not living in the possibilities of the rich getting it or not getting it. Let's just say they don't get it. Let's put this on. You know, one of my friends is rich, and you know, he's a wealthy individual. Well,
how do you know?
Maybe the guy at the bag mic as well. One of my friends, he was talking to me the other day, and he said, I could get behind this if it wasn't going to people like me, going to rich people like him, if we weren't giving this away to the elite, if it was truly to help those in need. But there's potential here. I know that there are some buckets that will do that, but there's potential here for it to go to others that do not need this, that already have this kind of access.
So and apparently there's some disagreement about whether the caps on the buckets melt away or not. I know that was in the underlying bill, might have been fixed in the perfecting amendment. When we do fill up the buckets and you have this final bucket, what is the cap that you're seeking to place?
So this is saying no one over 500% of the federal poverty level can take advantage of taxpayer handout voucher.
And what does that look like? What is 500% of FPL?
$160,000 roughly for a family. So we're talking about a family that brings home $160,000 up to that line. If you're above that line, we're saying you have this choice already. If you want to go to a private school, if you want to go to a public charter school, heck, if you want to move to a different school district, you probably have the means to do it. So we're asking all of us here to say, look, let's take the governor at his word that this is helping people living paycheck to paycheck. Let's take our colleagues at their word that they want to help the middle class and lower economic status class get this option. Let's just guarantee that top bucket of the rich elite doesn't get to take advantage of this. They don't need it. They don't need it. And I think there's a lot of people out there that agree with that. So let's just ensure that the middle class that this is designed to help serve, there's more money to go to them. It's $1 billion. It's not universal economically. So let's make sure that the dollars that we are choosing to appropriate to this go to those that are more in need. With this amendment, we can do that.
Thanks, Mr. Bucy.
Thank you, Representative.